Hello and welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Andrew,
And my name is Emily.
and today we are going to talk about
Stuff.
and things.
Things.
Was that an octave?
No.
No, that was a fifth.
We'll talk about music theory on a different episode.
I was reminded recently that I have not touched on my music theory at all for multiple years, and I miss it. I want to get back into writing bits and pieces and just having some more structured fun than just noodling.
Yeah, I've been writing. I actually recorded a few things a few weekends ago while Rick was out of town because I was very bored and also didn't have anyone that I felt like I had to be quiet for. Um, so I'm actually pretty happy with what turned out. But it didn't really involve theory at all. Just like, that sounds nice. I'm going to do it.
I like the almost mathematical, like linguistic aspect of theory because it can be
Yeah.
very formulaic. Not the right term because formulaic sounds so sterile and cold, but there's definitely a system to it, and I'm very much a systematic type of person. The way I think about things, if I got to wrap my head around the way things all fit together, you know.
Yeah. Theory keeps you
So,
from being too formulaic.
so yeah. Well, hey, so what are you drinking today?
I am drinking, it's kind of rare for me. I'm drinking red wine from a bottle instead of a
Like
box.
directly from the bottle?
No. Last
Should we be
night,
concerned?
no. Well, maybe, but probably not.
Poor wine is died for nothing.
No, I'm actually drinking wine out of a wine glass, and this wine did not come out of a box. It came out of a bottle. It was bottled the year Rick and I got engaged. We got engaged 6 years ago. No, gosh, 7 years ago. Wait, 2013. We got engaged in April of 2013.
So that's 6 years.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
Congratulations.
Thank you. If the listeners care, he proposed to me. Well, Rick used to work delivering for FedEx, and he would usually get off um, around lunchtime. And sometimes he would pick up a Jersey Mike sandwich and bring it to me at my work, and we'd split a sandwich. And so he proposed to me with a Jimmy John sandwich and a ring. And everyone at my office was working so hard, nobody even noticed for like an hour.
That's really cute.
Wasn't it? It was really cute.
The ring wasn't in the sandwich. It's not like you took a bite and there's like a ring that like chipped your tooth.
Oh no, he's smarter than that.
Okay.
Yes, men, do not hide very strong stones in food.
In general, it's just yeah.
Don't hide things in food. Don't hide things that aren't supposed to be consumed in food. Don't do it.
Unless it's a Kinder egg, and then that's totally fair game.
Not in America.
Actually, I think they changed the law, but they don't really make Kinder doesn't make those anymore. Like they
Um,
do, just not nearly the scale.
well, actually, I this was on Shark Tank, so it's my understanding that it's still illegal to put toys inside of chocolate, with one exception. And this company on Shark Tank, they had this process of, so there was chocolate on the outside, but the inside, it was like chocolate covered in orb. So you'd like crack off the chocolate and then you'd open the ball. So you weren't actually biting into a toy and
Mm.
choking. So it eliminated the choking hazard. So the FDA or whoever approved that product.
Yeah, I think that's just it's a great way to ruin all the fun. And if you bite and if you don't know what a Kinder egg is, and if you choke on the toy, like I think Darwin has something to say about that.
Oh, they're children, Andrew. They're children. Do you not
I
remember
don't care if
Wonderball?
they're children; they've got to learn how to live in this world.
Okay.
That sounded really
I'm the one
intense.
without children, and I'm the one that's like, think of the children.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I tend to be the kind
Yeah.
of parent that's like, "Oh, you scraped your knee? Well, did you
Mm-hmm.
learn to not jump off of that thing again?
That's
Cool."
different than choking. And I'll tell you what, I did choke as a kid, and I did learn my lesson.
Yeah, I think I'm not actually serious. I don't think people should choke, but
Yes. Well,
that's
let's just say
definitely not something we
I now unwrap Hershey's Kisses before I eat them.
that is a wise decision. Why would you not?
Because I was 4, I don't know. Ask my dad, he doesn't know either, I'm sure. But what are you drinking, Andrew?
I am drinking a grapefruit flavored Talking Rain because at the time
Mm.
this episode is recorded, it's still Lenten season.
Mhm.
However, by the time this episode is out, it will not be.
Yes. And you will
So,
be enjoying that glass of red wine from a bottle in a glass.
no,
After.
I picked up a Scotch ale that's aged in white oak barrels.
Oh,
As
fancy pants.
I know. Oh, I mean, what can I say? I have good taste.
Sure. Do you know
Yeah,
why adults prefer bitter chocolate and bitter flavors and bitter beers?
because life is bitter.
Because your taste buds literally start to die as you get older. So you can actually taste the bitter a lot more.
That's why old people oversalt their food.
Is it really? I mean, that makes
It is,
sense.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because their taste buds are down, so because salt amplifies those flavors. It's also
Mm.
why old people turn up their guitar amps even louder because 'cause they've got tinnitus, so it sounds like it's normal volume, and it's really, like, 115 decibels.
Yep, sounds checks out. Checks out. That's why I've always worn earplugs to shows. Speaking of shows,
Yeah.
next weekend, as in next weekend after we drop this episode, is the Tacoma Guitar Festival.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this episode the day we or the day after we dropped it, you've got a couple of days to sort out your travel plans to come see us in Tacoma,
Yes,
and
we'll
if
be there
you
on
don't,
Saturday.
we will be there on Saturday, and I cannot wait to go.
Mhm.
I'm also really curious to see who else is gonna be there. The website only shows it says, like, over 150, booths will be there,
Yeah.
but it doesn't say who's gonna be in those booths, so I'm really excited to see there's only a short list of some notable mentions. I think PRS is gonna be there, Martin's gonna be there, the
F
guitar store's gonna be there,
Yes,
representing Gibson.
Emerald City Guitars will certainly be there. I bet Thunder Road will be there. Some shops from Tacoma, I mean, not sorry, Tacoma, Portland, Oregon were there last time I went. Last time I went, I believe like JHS was also there. Matthews Effects was there 2 years ago. They weren't there last year. Same with Pelican Noise Works and a few
And
others.
I don't think Rick's gonna plan on being there this year
Yeah, and
that
I
I'm
think
aware of.
Leon said he might come up one day.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yes, but,
So,
what I'm really excited about, because I haven't seen Sarah Zimmerman perform, since college, and, if you remember, she was a guest on the show not too long ago, but
yep.
Striking Matches will be performing the Saturday morning, so really looking forward to seeing her and catching up and
Does that
stuff.
mean we get VIP backstage tickets?
I don't think there's a backstage. I'm gonna be
Well,
fully honest. Last time I went, Khaki King was there, and I was like, I've always wanted to see her live, and since I was a teenager, like I started listening to her when I was 16, and I went, I'm like, well, I really only know some of her older stuff because I just kind of fell out of it, and she played so much stuff that I knew, and it was just thrilling. And then she was just walking around afterwards, like all 5 feet of her, really stands out.
that's awesome.
It's funny how in a crowd of a guitar show crowd, it's like the shorter people stand out.
Well, then that's good news for me.
No
I'm glad
comment.
I will be memorable.
Yeah, but there'll be it's like half guitar show, half like swap meet. Like you
That's the
can
part that's gonna be
yeah.
dangerous because I've got every last penny I've got to spend on gears being set aside for that Jennings, and it's gonna take everything in me not to be like, "Well, I could postpone getting the Jennings just a little bit longer."
I'll
So,
just bring some stuff to trade around.
I don't typically buy stuff that I want to turn around and flip.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know what could be fun?
What?
Okay, you tell me if this sounds remotely viable. I have an Electro Harmonix Muff Overdrive. I got it for like $20. It's worth about $20.
Okay.
What if I walked around the guitar show for the day doing like a bigger or better kind of trade to see what I could trade up to?
That would be really great. It's like those people who trade like a little trinket and they come out with a car at
Yeah,
the end. Yeah.
Right, 'cause I'm honestly never gonna play this Muff Overdrive again. It's
Oh, yeah.
okay, but it also kinda sucks. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not my style. Oh,
Oh,
it's just
totally.
not my style. I don't like I've got other drives that I like better,
Yeah,
and it's been
that's
in a
fine.
box for a year now, which is really unheard of for me.
Yeah, see if you can trade it for, like, something. Yeah, yeah, I'm for this. I'm totally for this.
This'll be fun.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know how I just came up with that just now, but
I like it.
th so we'll see what I come up with. If I end up with nothing, then I will have exactly what I had before. So,
Yes.
yeah. Anyways, if you're in the area, if you have the ability to make it out to the Tacoma Guitar Show, I would love to see you, give you a high five, and yeah, it'd be fun.
Yes.
Let's be
Cool.
friends.
Yes, let's do that.
So, yeah. Well, in the meantime, while we're awaiting our magnificent Saturday of excitement, what's cracking? What's crack lacking? What's new in
Well,
the world of guitar for you?
it kind of reminds me when you were talking about how you don't buy things to flip.
Hmm.
I don't really either, but, my
Well,
friend
okay, to clarify, I do buy things to
well
flip,
oh,
but
right,
I
right,
don't
right, right.
typically buy things that I don't care about just to hang on to them just for funsies.
Right. It kind of it sort of plays into this this little tradition I have with Jim Bowers in that I like to trade him some of my smaller pedals that I just don't feel like selling for one of his bigger
Mhm.
pedals that would just be a pain in the butt to try to sell. So that's how I got my Moon Canyon was trading a couple things to him, and then he sent me the Moon Canyon, and he just sent
Oh,
me
crazy.
his old Klein bottle, and uh, and I just traded a couple pedals for that. And I am so excited. Just kind of been playing around with it a little bit. But it's it's fun. It's pretty cool. Are you familiar?
I remember I picked it up while I was over at your place last, and I didn't have a chance to plug it in, but I'm thoroughly intrigued by what that
Yeah,
thing's capable of, and I love how intuitive it is just to have a simple high pass, low pass filter.
it is pretty cool, and it changes the sound so much. So it's like just correct me if I'm wrong. Like I've done some reading up on it. I kind of agreed to trade it on a whim, um, but it's like a looper,
Yep.
and it almost turns every pedal you have so that it has an effects loop. So, and you can decide how much or how little of one pedal goes into another pedal. You can control clipping options. You can control how much of that signal overall gets pushed into another pedal, and you can like change up the order of things. I really don't know how you use it live, and I'm just peeling back the first layer of the onion even now, but, for, like, recording and trying to get kind of weird noises, um, I'm just having a blast with it. I'll just put on a loop, run the loop through it, and just adjust things, and it's pretty neat.
I feel like I could lock myself into a studio with that for a week.
Yes, you could, and then you would still there would still be mysteries that abounded within it.
The mysteries
The
that abound.
mysteries. Those mysteries. What was the theme song for Unsolved Mysteries? Now that I feel like that was also just noises.
Probably something
Probably.
creepy,
Yes.
something
Um,
spooky.
yeah, spooky scary. But the other big news for me, I mentioned this a few times, that Layla from Tunatone Instruments, who has a brand spanking new website, thanks to me, she sent off my guitar body to Vancouver Guitar Finishing. So that's getting all painted up, and she's working on the neck, which means it's so close to being done, and I am so excited.
I'm so excited for you. And just hearing you be so excited about this makes me that much more excited for me to get a custom build in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I'm
good.
I can't wait for you to get it in because I want to play it.
Yes. Ditto. You'll
So
probably get yours before I get mine at this rate.
we'll see.
We'll see.
I still haven't paid for anything yet.
Yeah.
waiting to make that all at
But
once.
he's so fast. It's all he does. Layla does this a couple days a week.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see.
Mhm.
I, I I'm looking forward to all of the above.
Mhm. Nice. Well, that's all for me. What about you, Andrew?
Not a whole lot has happened with me. I've just been super busy with the day job. I'm trying to think. Oh, I'll tell you what. I finally got a picture update from Justin 10K of Mezzo Effects, and he's making me a custom ohm. We did that giveaway a few months ago with a cat
Yeah.
graphic,
Oh yeah.
and that the giveaway we did for that was 1000% unique. But I'm getting a custom one with the same graphic but a completely different color
Mhm.
set, so as to respect the uniqueness of the giveaway that we gave.
Yes. There's
Congratulations.
only one black glossy one in existence
Yep, and that belongs to Paul Pennington as of last I checked.
from the Flippin' Flippers. Go listen to their podcast.
Yeah, they flip and they flipper.
They do flipper.
Lots of flippers. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean the one I'm getting is bright safety cone neon orange, and I could not
Nice.
be more excited.
I know
Have
it.
I sent you the picture?
Yeah, I know that you want that orange drive section.
Yeah, I'm a fan of orange everything. Um yeah, that's part of why I with the pedal toppers that is the colors that it is.
Mhm.
And yeah, I like orange. That's just my favorite color. That's just a general thing.
Oh, is that
And
why you made the chat colors for our chat orange?
yeah,
Ah, I feel played.
guilty as charged.
All right. Because you sent me a picture of something else that you have that's new.
Oh yes. I got a new soldering iron tip.
Yeah, I'm just now looking at this picture, and I will definitely post this to the Facebook group and the visual thread. Were you were you really using that soldering tip, Andrew, that you'd been using before? Because what?
It was a little worse for the wear.
Oh my goodness, that thing worked?
It if I did it right, it would be a cold joint. But yeah, most of what I was doing was cold joints because it wouldn't flow hot enough because it was just so wrecked.
Ugh, ugh.
So
Why did
I've
it
got it.
take you so long?
Uh, well, okay, so I learned the hard way that no store in Seattle carries soldering iron tips.
Yeah, they do.
I hate
I just went to Stoneway Hardware today, and they had some.
really? I
Yeah.
checked everywhere on the east side and I could not find one because I was
Well, there's your
determined
problem.
not to order from Amazon
Well,
because
why
I
didn't you?
hate spending money with
Well,
them.
why didn't you go to Fry's Electronics in Renton?
I didn't think to look there.
Well, that place is a true wonderland.
I've been to Fry's in LA and it was a spectacle to
Yeah.
spectate.
Oh, it's a special place. But
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming and frightening and exciting all at once. I think is
yes,
the best way to describe a trip to Fred Meyer.
yes. So I don't know if we ever
Or
actually
not Fred
said this,
Meyer,
but
goodness,
yeah,
fries.
I got you. I knew what you meant. Fred Meisure. So Andrew got a new soldering tip, and he sent me a picture. And the new one is, pristine, and the old one looks like a bullet that somebody found in
From World War II.
yeah, from like the Civil War. Like someone was like doing the metal detector or like planting corn or something, and they dug it up and were like, "Oh, I'll just put that in my pocket."
Hey Jimmy, would you check this out? Look what I found.
You think this shot a red coat? That was bad.
You think this is worth any money?
No.
Oh, well, if it's not worth money, I've been meaning to replace my tooth.
Ah. Oh,
Jokes.
I bet I can make some jewelry with that. All right.
Yeah, that's it would be going for the rustic effect.
Yes. Yes.
Emphasis on the rust.
People do that. Oh, emphasis on the rust. Good one. Good one. Oh, you think that's why they call it rustic?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Once I left a job and I was like a social media manager. And after I left it, the new social media manager was doing this like daily fact thing. And one day their daily fact was news is an acronym for Northeast, West, South. And my only thought was, you think news is an acronym? It's not.
that's slightly frightening.
It's
Okay, so
not.
tell you what, that reminds me. I totally forgot the last time we recorded an episode, and I was kicking myself. I have something sort of similar to like a daily facts, but I have something that I think would be worthwhile doing every episode as an addition to our format.
I'm all ears.
Hang on, hang on just a second. I have to go grab it.
Is it a wrap? Well, it's just the two of us, dear listener. I'm just kidding. I got nothing.
Alrighty, let's see here. So, what I have here is got to be one of my favorite thrift shop finds of recent history.
Go on.
This is a book labeled Dad Jokes, the
Oh
punniest joke book ever.
no!
Warning, contents may lead to eye rolling, cringing, and groaning,
Ugh,
or side splitting, knee slapping, gut busting laughter.
ugh,
Probably both.
I'm so sorry to our listeners.
So, I thought it would be there's hundreds of pages, hundreds, with multiple dad jokes on each page. I have not opened this yet. I did not open it in the thrift shop. I fully trust that it contains what it has. I just flipped through it for the first time, and it smells like New Balance shoes.
That's weird.
It's a dad thing. So I
It's also a Willie Nelson thing. And I think, what was that cult who all wore New Balance shoes? They thought the comet was coming to pick them up. Huh.
I don't know.
I might be making that one
I just
up.
learned the other day that New Balance has a skateboarding team, which kind of blew my mind because I've never associated them as a skateboarding brand.
Huh. Well, I mean, balance is right in the name.
Yeah, the friend who told me this, I trust because they were featured on Thrasher magazine.
Ah.
Just name dropping here. His name's
So,
Kevin Stake. He's super rad.
nice.
Um,
So, are you going to turn to a random page or are you going to start on page one, joke one?
I'm thinking there's only a few jokes per page. Oh, it's in categories. Here we go. Let's look at the table of contents here. This is exciting. So we have 6 categories. 1, the daily grind, work, school, or other necessary evils.
Mm-hmm.
Topic number 2, humor in the house, family life, and creature comforts.
Oh,
Number 3 is
Lord.
sports and leisure, aka what dads don't have time for. Subject number 4, for your health, fitness, aging, and eventual death. Morbid. I
Oh,
like it.
Lord. Let's go
Number
with.
5,
Oh, there's more.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then there's number 5. You can't make this stuff up. Real life funnies.
Oh.
That last one starts on page 268.
Oh, there's like 600 jokes in this book?
More than that, there's got to be 1,000 in here.
Oh, man. All right.
So,
I
what
think
topic? Let's pick a topic and we'll start from there.
let's look at hobbies or whatever that one was.
Sports and leisure,
Yes, sure.
page 135. Flip, 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 flip. This is so much more satisfying than like reading online. Gotta say. All right,
Books.
I'm just gonna read the first page from this, and we'll call it a day.
All right.
Well, we'll actually talk about our topic.
Yes.
Uh,
Can you imagine
we're really
if we
bad
just
at
told
getting.
some bad dad jokes and then we just ended the episode? Didn't talk about guitars almost at all.
All right, how many golfers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know. How many does it take?
4.
Oh, son of a. Sometimes you're just mad at yourself for not guessing an obvious joke. Okay.
This next one's weird. I'm gonna skip that
I
one.
want to hear it.
Oh, here's a. Oh, this one's the. Here's one that's hitting me right in the feels. It says, "When I grow up, I want to be a musician." Well, honey, you know you can't do both.
Oh,
What a
snaps.
slam!
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That just is a gut punch.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm okay with being a Peter Pan and never growing up.
Yeah,
So
actually,
suck it, Dad.
I think that's kind of a
Never
millennial
liked
thing.
That's a joke. Dad, I love you. If you're listening to this and you actually support my podcast, I love you and I don't really hate you.
Aw, how sweet.
Yeah.
I also love my father.
All right, and the other one on the page I'd like to read is uh, this. I got excited when my son joined the cross country team, but then I learned they don't cross the country and they're back home in just a few hours.
Oh,
See, these aren't super punny. They're just like kind of dead. I feel like we need to.
bet them.
Yeah, they. I think I need to keep it to the puns.
Yeah, that just wasn't me. That just wasn't nice. Those last two just were not nice.
I feel like I've been very excited to read this book this entire time, and I'm now very existentially worried that I'm going to be very underwhelmed.
Well, how much did you pay for
Okay,
it?
it this was $3.49, but it was like buy two get one free or something like that.
All right.
And the other one I got was a history of guitars,
Okay.
which I'm interested. I think it was released in the 90s, so it's a little outdated, which makes me that much more excited to read it.
Yeah.
We're going to leave off on a good note here uh, before we move on to our topic. And why couldn't the bicycle stand up on its own?
Why?
Because it's just too tired. Oh
Uh,
no,
no.
my little keyboard's out of batteries. I brought my little Casio keyboard over, and I just turned it on to do the da to the keyboard drum
So
kit.
that's why I heard like a pop, like a faint
Yeah,
thud, thud, thud.
yeah. So it's turned on, the screen's on, and I hit the button. Yeah, now and then it shuts off because it's out
Uh,
of battery. But
or I was just like,
so
maybe I'll edit in crickets because that's
oh,
more accurate. Cold.
that's all right. So today's topic.
No, wait,
We
wait,
want.
wait.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
whoa, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
Okay,
Sponsors.
sponsors.
Hit it.
All right. So for today, we're gonna do something slightly different. This is be a little strange, but bear with us. We don't have a sponsor for today, intentionally so, because we want to call attention to the new page on the website about sponsorships.
Yes.
So if you're interested in sponsoring this show, like many other wonderful and great companies have done so far, we've had an array of some excellent sponsors like Lambertones, Rick Matthews from Matthews Effects,
Jennings
Chad
guitars.
and Guitars, my
Dwarfcraft
buddy Phil over at
devices.
Tasty Cable.
Yes, Dwarfcraft
We've
devices.
a whole bunch of great
Yes.
sponsors. If you want to join that group of wonderful people and help us out here, check out the website, shoot us an email. We would super appreciate that.
Yes.
And yeah,
Our rates are quite reasonable.
very reasonable. We don't have anything to hide. We're not trying to
Yeah.
do anything crazy. And we're just trying to
Keep this
make it
thing, we just
keep this thing afloat.
yeah, because it's not expensive to make a podcast. It's also not free.
It is not free.
Mhm.
So there's software that we use to record this because we can't visit each other in person every time we do this, so on and so forth.
Right.
There are expenses involved.
And then there's the
So
website, and then, we love going to guitar shows. If we can't get a press pass, then we're spending money to go. And we'd love to, be able to do things like go to other guitar events in Anaheim and Nashville. And that would
well,
just,
yeah. I mean, just in general,
yeah,
I if nothing else, sponsor if you sponsor the show, it's just helping us cover month-to-month
yeah,
expenses, and for that we would be incredibly grateful. So
yes,
check it out. And we love you all and everyone who sponsors us
yes,
up to date.
yes,
With that in mind, let's hop into today's episode.
yes. So,
The
Andrew,
whole
have
yeah.
you ever ordered something online to have it not be in stock and then never receive it?
Ooh. Uh, mm, uh No, I
Ah,
don't. I don't believe so. Actually, you know what? I take that back. That has happened to me once,
and
and it was for a mouse pad that came from China that I ordered on Amazon. I was very excited. It was a picture of a cat in space DJing.
oh my gosh, that's so many of your interests in one like 8 by 8 square.
Yep, it never arrived. They refunded us for it,
You got a
and
refund?
instead I
Oh,
did,
how
and
nice.
then I ordered a picture of a cat in space pouncing on a taco.
Oh gosh, more interests.
So
Yes.
yeah, So I like funky mouse pads. What can I say? But
Yes.
yeah, that first one, it never arrived, but I did get a refund.
Yeah. So
Yeah, for the whole $3 I spent.
I've had it happen where I ordered something that never came to fruition, and then I lost my money. And
You lost your money.
I did, because, I ordered some guitar pedals from a company that was supposed to supply some gear, and, yeah,
I see what you did there.
yes, it never happened, and it made me feel real bad. I'm still a little sour, but, um, so I think that our topic today is going to involve, because in just any business, it's borderline unreasonable to always have everything you're ever going to sell in stock at all times. Like,
Especially for small businesses, the capital
especially,
necessary
yes.
to make a run of pedals, for instance, there's a significant chunk of capital involved in that, and
Yes,
so
yes, and you just can't hang on to all this inventory when you don't know what's going to sell. So, a little backstory on me, I don't remember how I found out about Gear Supply Company, probably Instagram, but I started, buying their strings. I liked their branding. I liked their guitar picks, their Delrin jazz picks, and I still have a lot of those. And
wait, I thought that was, it was a Supro guitar company.
oh man, yeah, that lightning
I
bolt.
got confused because the
The
lightning bolt.
lightning bolt was very confusing. And they launched a Kickstarter for guitar pedals. I bought into the Kickstarter. And for the record, it's not the first Kickstarter I've ever given money to that just did not come to fruition, didn't get like the product that I expected. That's probably happened to me less than 5 times, and it sucks. It really sucks when that happens, but it's Kickstarter. Like, there's not a lot of like retribution there. Um, but what Gear Supply Company did is, when they didn't have money, it seemed like they would just do a big sale and they'd get some short term capital and then they'd pay off some debts. And they started selling guitar pedals like the ones from the Kickstarter campaign on their website before the Kickstarter pedals got delivered for a discount. So a lot of people were like, oh, well, I've gotten my things from them in the past. I'm sure they'll fulfill this as well. Kept buying, and the company just stopped existing. But while the company was not responding to emails about anything, while people were still asking, where are these things that I gave you money for? Their web store was still online and still accepting orders. That
Which is super unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I I would be shocked if they had any intention on filling any of the orders after like January of last year. But
Something like that.
yeah. So,
So, a lot of people have already heard this, and we're not trying to beat a dead horse. We're just providing
yeah.
context for a discussion about the it's a mixed bag. There's pros and cons with a small business and trying to get product
Yeah.
out the door.
So, I mean, it comes to the point where, like, how do you handle that? How do you handle when you are, a victim of your own success, perhaps, and are getting more orders than you can fill? Um, and I think that Andrew and I wanted to talk about, just shout out a few companies who have their own sort of models on how to do this and kind of the pros and cons of different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's two companies that come to mind is uh, examples of two different styles of this. And that would be Analog Man with the King of Tone, and then we can talk about Matthew Hoops with the DRV.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the quintessential Analog Man King of Tone, which is widely regarded as the best overdrive pedal ever created. I have one. I'm not convinced that that's true, but what I am convinced of is it is a good sounding pedal.
Yeah, and you like it.
So I do. I don't plan on selling it. I plan on holding on that for a while. So the way it works is you send in an email and you get on a waiting list. As of last I checked, I think the waiting list was about 2.5 years
At least.
long. Um, I've seen it as low as about a little over a year. I've seen it as high like 3 years and change for how far along they are on that wait list. But it seems like my impression is that waitlist is going to be in existence until they run out of parts that they can source to make the King of Tone.
Hmm.
And so there's some pros and cons of the list. I would say a huge pro is that means if you find the product and you're interested and you get your name on the list, you get it in the order that you asked for it.
And you don't have to pay money to be on this waiting list.
You don't have to pay money to be on the waiting list. That's also super cool.
That's
So
an important distinction, in my opinion.
so if you Right. So if you get your name on the list and you wait a couple of years, and at that point in time you don't have the money for it, or you decide you're content with the gear that you've got and you're no longer interested in it, whatever the reason may be, if you don't want to order it, no problem. They just move on to the next person on the list.
Yeah. I wonder I
Um,
wonder what the conversion rate is on that. Like, I wonder how many people just decide not to buy. I mean, obviously, it doesn't seem to have any major impact on, like, their success because the list is still very long. It's curious, though.
mhm.
I'm curious about it.
I'd be curious to see what that is. The general impression I get from interviews I've seen with Mike is he's not bothered when someone's changes their mind against it. It's just it is what it is, and people have their own reasons, and that's totally all right. And there's still tons of other people waiting in line.
Yeah,
So
and I'm sure, like, people forget all the time that they joined that list.
yeah,
3 years is
and
a
then so
long
that
time to wait for a thing. Like, I can't think of any, like, specific product where I've had to wait that, like, nearly that long for.
yeah, I'm no, I'm gonna say tell how I got my King of Tone. The is just as part of this example. So if you don't wait the 3 years, your options are to buy it secondhand, and because there's such a long wait list, there's some insane markup. I've seen it sells for 265 before you get any of the additional add-on options, which can bump you up to close to the 350 mark. And I've seen some of the more decked out King of Tones listed for like 7, 8, 900 bucks. I mean, it's
Whoa.
absolutely insane. So yeah, they go for obscene amounts of money secondhand typically, and I was incredibly fortunate. I don't like to make a big deal out of this because I don't want like anyone to feel bummed out. But I'm going to take this moment to shout out a good friend of mine. As a friend of mine came up on the list for the King of Tone, and it wasn't in the cards for them to pay for it at the time, and offered very kindly out of the kindness of their heart to let me take their spot on the list. They didn't charge me anything extra other than the shipping.
That's a very sweet thing to do.
They could have very easily flipped that for 600, 700 bucks, and I am incredibly grateful
Aw.
that they did that. They even waited for like a couple weeks for me to sell a couple things to get the money together. So that's the only reason why I don't have my Keeley DNM drive
Mhm.
anymore is because I sold it for this purpose. And gotta say, I love the Keeley D&M drive and plan on getting another one when I have a chance.
Yes. That's good.
That's I definitely miss the way that one
Mhm.
sounds. And but yeah, so shout out to my friend Michael. You are incredible, and I am incredibly grateful for
And
that.
shout out to King of Tone for finding a way to take the enormous demand that they have and create an organized way where it really is first come first served and people don't have to, set alarms or just wait for notification or whatever. And they also don't have to give up their money in advance, just wait around for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
like that because I don't like taking the idea of my money being taken and then never returned to me. Sorry, I'm just
yeah,
thinking
I
about my
know.
money.
No, I mean it happens.
Yeah.
I certainly don't blame you for being bummed out. I'd be super bummed if I'm incredibly thankful that I held out before taking a chance on gear supply
Yeah,
because I know that burned a
yeah.
lot of people.
Oh, yeah, and the employees especially who never got, you know, Well, we won't get into that.
Well, yeah, I don't want to sip the tea too much.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, so that's the old King of Tone. And then Emily, you went through the process of purchasing a pedal through Matthew Hoop. So if you want to talk about what your experience
I
was
did.
and what his process
Yeah.
was.
So, he and um, Prelude, Quiet Theory, like those kind of worked in similar ways, where I joined an email list and then I was given notification like, hey, at this time and this time zone, we're releasing a batch of pedals. It was a little bit more like buying a concert ticket, which makes sense because um, both of those builders are musicians. So, like, getting up that hype, making sure people know when it's going to be available, and then having all these individuals coming to your site at the same time trying to buy your product. So, for that, in both of those cases, it was an instance of they had either X parts ready or X number already made. So they were only selling what they had. But that's not always the way that Matt Hoops does it. As he discussed on our show, once or twice he's just left the pre-sales up and then he's bought the parts so that it wasn't such a mad rush to go in and buy your pedals because you only have a certain amount, like maybe a batch of even like say 20. I guess I know that that's what Brian Sprague said, that that's kind of the max. He'll just do a few at a time.
Hmm.
Um, that's a little bit more risk for a consumer doing a traditional pre-sale, but since it's done through like normal credit card channels versus like a Kickstarter situation, and they're honest and they're actually fulfilling these products, it's less risky when you take that into account, I think. Um, so I mean, the benefits of that are you get it faster if you are lucky and and are able to log on to your computer or your phone when the thing goes online, and then ostensibly you'll get it in weeks if not days.
Right, right, right. And so, yeah, this conversation is just to chat about these kind of different ways of doing things just for the sake of information,
Hmm.
as well as just a reminder that it, just to pitch in my 2 cents on the gear supply thing, it's a bummer for me because I feel like that ruins the sense of community that we have in the guitar community that we can all trust each other,
Yeah.
and that really tight knit relationship that we as the consumer have with the builders.
Hmm. Because
That's just kind of a bummer.
everyone thought that they could trust Gear Supply Company. That
Right. And
founder
so,
was in the groups. He was talking to people. He was responding to them through via like various media channels, and he was delivering some products. And when you look back at it now, hindsight's 2020, and you can see, well, that was suspicious. Like a Black Friday
right.
sale before your products get delivered, pretty suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't super invested. Go too I don't want to pass too much judgment as much as it's easy to for me to do
Yeah,
so. I don't know. I think it's safe for me to say that my takeaway is that simply I am bummed out because that puts a bad mark on the reputation of builders in the community.
it does, and
It,
it makes it harder for me
and
to justify in my own mind. Um,
taking a chance on another company.
exactly.
So, and for that, yeah, I don't know what I could say to make that right because it's, well, one, it's not my responsibility, and two, I don't know, I'm not sure there is a way. That just kind of, it's a bummer.
Yeah,
And there's other scandals historically that have happened. The other notable one that comes to my mind is the Ellie scandal, the Ellie Guitar
and that's
Company.
what I'm not even familiar with, really.
Okay, well, let me give you the briefest of rundowns. It's been a little while since I've looked into it, but the general overview is Ellie Guitar Company was an acoustic guitar company, small builder, putting out some fresh stuff, and they got a few people to buy into it. They had a few show pieces, show models, and they started taking some special orders. And a couple of people actually got their stuff, and it was just total junk. Uh, just it was just incredibly bad. I'm friends with someone in the community who did order one. They got it, and it was just so bad. It like it like unplayable
Ugh.
bad.
Yeah.
And the long story short, it turns out the whole thing was a scam, and multiple people didn't even get their really bad guitars. It was a scam. The dude took the money and
Yeah.
ran when the jig was up.
There's somebody in the steel guitar, pedal steel community who apparently does that, and I was really grateful when I like I posted a question about my pedal steel in one of these forums, and someone started responding. I'm like, "Oh, thanks for the help." And another person came and messaged me and said, "Hey, totally cool to talk to this person. Don't ever send him money." And kind of gave me the rundown on that this person did exactly that. Takes money, doesn't deliver product, and if they ever do deliver product, it's trash.
Yeah, I mean it's a bummer because that puts a bitter taste in everybody's mouths.
Yeah.
The LA guitar guy's name that he was going by was Patrick J. Wilson. I don't know for sure if that was his real legal
Huh.
name. I don't know. I don't think anyone ever tracked down where he ended up taking the money or where he ended up or what the story behind that is.
Yikes.
I do know that he was like forms of payment he was accepting. I want to say it was with Ellie. Someone gave him like a vintage Les Paul
Oh.
that like in exchange for a guitar, like as like just a loaner, and then it got parted out
Oh.
as vintage parts, and he never got his
Oh
guitar
my
back. It was like a family
god. Oh
heirloom.
my god.
I That might not have been Ellie. That might have been an older one that I can't remember the name of. But it's a super bummer. But all that to say, there are some great companies in the industry that I 1000%
Mhm.
trust would be happy to give money to before I see the cash on,
Yeah. Oh,
or
totally.
before I see the product. So,
But, like, when people start to
I mean,
grumble about things, like, maybe listen to them and learn more about why they're saying what they're saying. Because there are 2
right.
sides, and, in cases like Ellie and Gear Supply, obviously there was a side that was correct, There was a side that, you know, uh, obviously something happened there where bottom line, people had their money taken and got nothing in return.
Which is super unfortunate. I think this is where the power of the community that we're in comes to play is that we can hold each other accountable. We can send each other messages like the one you got about the pedal steel guy, and we just support it. Hey, by the way,
Yeah,
heads
let's
up.
look out for each other.
We're
Yeah,
definitely. I think the community's done a great job of that so far. And I just want to thank everyone who's been a part of doing that through the various scandals and things that have happened to the
yeah,
community. And thank you for sticking up for what's right.
totally. Nice.
So I think that's about all I've got to say on the topic.
Likewise, and if you all have more to say on that
Um,
topic, we'd love to hear it. Please join our Facebook group. It's just if you search "Get All Set Podcast," that's us. And let us
yeah,
know.
I want to hear from people. I know we just mentioned the two main examples for companies that have their own ways and that are doing it well, which is what Matt Hoops is doing and what Mike Pierre is doing over
Yeah,
Analog
also
Man.
Prelude.
But I want to hear in Prelude, yeah. So if anybody has any other examples that they want to shoot us for different ways to do that or to handle, by all means, send us examples.
Mhm. Yep, awesome. Well, yep, that I think brings us to the end of this episode. We hope to see you this coming weekend in Tacoma. Um, Andrew, do you
What?
have the dates on that? It's like the 27th and 28th?
I think the guitar show is on the 27th. Yeah, it's the 27th and the
We'll be there the
28th.
27th.
We will be there on the 27th.
Yes, we might get brunch first.
I think that's an excellent idea. And I'm looking at some of the swag I've got sitting on my desk. And I think we
Oh,
might just if you
shoot.
find
Yeah, we should
us,
bring some swag.
I think I've got a coaster of my drink sitting on and a few extra coasters. I've got some
I just
pins.
got some
I've got some
magnets. I got
stickers.
magnets, I got stickers, I got like window like mirror decals. Um
Sweet. So yeah, I think we'll have just swag
Maybe yeah,
to
maybe a
shower.
hat or 2. I forgot to mention this, I was at an event at the guitar store, the other weekend, the master class with the dudes from Pedals and Effects, and a
Uh-huh.
couple folks came up
Yeah.
and said hi. They recognized, me from the podcast and from my voice and the selfies I, uh, ashamedly post. I should say shamelessly post. So big ups to everyone who came and said hi. It was really nice to meet you. I know that whole event wasn't about me, but it just made me feel like, oh, someone cares.
Yeah, it's always really great.
Yes. Cool. Well, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for understanding. I'm Emily.
I'm Andrew.
Goodbye.
Bye.